welcome back to episode 2 of Let's Play over on RainyDay, a brand new public Minecraft Skyblock server that is available for both Java and Bedrock. So in this episode, it's pretty much a grinding episode, I'm going to be honest. I'm working towards just getting some basic studies unlocked, as well as getting some basic materials to try and expand my island platform. And then hopefully at some point I can make this look really good. So like I said, main focus is resources, cutting down wood, enough wood so that I can then make some chest system and a bit of a storage system is kind of my end goal there. But obviously I ideally need to get some blocks down so that I can expand my platform. So that's why you see Luke in the background. He's trying to figure out how to build me an ore gen, and he started complaining that my sugarcane was in the way and that it all needed to move, which is why I ended up picking it all up and kind of making my island more of a mess. But that will be on the next Let's Play series that I have coming out soon, which is kind of actually decorating my island and making it look like an island. But with this ore gen, essentially you kind of place water in each one, and each of these 4 corners acts as its own mini ore gen, so to speak. I'm probably the worst person to describe this, and a lot of people will probably know a lot more detail about this than me. But essentially we're going to fill each one with water, and then I need to get a lava bucket because you place 1 bucket of lava is all this takes. And then once I place that bucket of lava on top of this block here, that Luke was clearly shouting at me for, you then essentially just open the trapdoor, let the water flow down, shut the trapdoor, and then you can mine all the way down. And essentially, like I said, we need blocks. I could make it into slabs, but for now I just need blocks. The trees keep growing and then the chickens keep getting killed. I'm also working towards my different masteries when it comes to mobbing. Bearing in mind at this point, I did not upgrade my attributes. So I am clicking at like 1 CPS per click, and I unlocked all the way to frogs at 1 CPS. And I think that's a really big shout out. But this is me trying to figure out island upgrades, realizing how expensive this is going to cost me. And I started to do my ore gen because I felt like with me mining, that one was pretty important to do. But then I also realized that I should probably consider upgrading my island size because it's not very big, and it's a little bit cramped over on the island. So I do need to start working towards grinding sky dust so that I can upgrade all of this a little bit more, because realizing that I can't upgrade any further on either of those 2 categories right now is a little bit depressing. Like I said, it's a very grind heavy video. I actually cut out so much of the grinding, it is insane. But this is me fishing. I'm really close to getting the lore level unlocked on fishing, and I highly recommend visiting a Bedrock player's name. I think it's Wild Ting, because they have a fishing island and it looks amazing. Now this is me trying to actually use my ore gen for the first time. So you open the trapdoor, and then like 3 blocks down is when you start to mine. And then essentially you can just mine all the way to the very bottom in this. And then when you get to the bottom, it teleports you to the start of your island. And then you just go on to the second one, open the trapdoor, and work your way around like that. It's actually a really cool design. So again, shout out to Luke for helping me set this up. I do believe some of the other media people do have tutorial videos on how to set these up, so definitely go and check those out as well. But as I said, this is basically a sped up version of me grinding. And I just repeat this process over and over again for probably quite a few hours. I'm going to be honest, this wasn't a 2-minute job. This was like a 3-day grind of me trying to increase my studies and work my way through everything. At this point, I also didn't realize that I could have enchanted some of my tools, although I do not have lapis yet. But when you do finally unlock lapis is when you can enchant your tools to have a much better chance at grinding, should we say. Okay, so then after that, I kind of got my special coal, which I was really hyped about because that was also a mission that I needed to do for a reward. on the beginner category. Again, a reminder, any of the missions, make sure you actually click them to redeem the reward. But this is essentially me working through that list of missions and then trying to organize my pockets, because realizing that I definitely do not have enough space to put all this stuff in. And this is me trying to figure out how on earth I craft stuff that I was just like, yeah, I don't know how to craft anything. The reason why I crafted a hoe, again, was for part of that mission. I later realized that you can use a hoe on the leaves of a tree and it like insta one block breaks them, which I thought was pretty cool because I didn't know that was a thing. But you'll notice throughout this, I basically always have messy pockets. I always end up filling my PV up, and it's just, it's not good. It's not good for the environment. I end up dropping a load of stuff throughout, but I will clear my PVs at some point, and I am planning to have a very nice storage house on my island somewhere. It's also worth noting, my island is public, so anyone can come and visit and see where I'm at and what I'm up to. It is a bit of a sneak peek onto future Let's Play episodes, because obviously by the time I've edited and uploaded this episode, I progressed 10 times faster. So it's kind of a sneak peek to what to expect in future episodes. But this is me now trying to semi-clear up my island. And when I say semi-clear up my island, part of the mission was to break a block of obsidian. Me and Luke had a joke about this because he claims that this is going to take forever to break. And actually, I don't think it was that bad. I haven't sped that up at all and it broke. I am using an iron pickaxe. So maybe Luke's mindset was using a stone pickaxe is why it took so long. At this point, the easy missions are locked, but as you're watching this, they are now unlocked. So you can actually grind those. So kind of just be aware about that as well. This is when I started to look at island missions and think about trying to do some of these. And then I realized how much of a grind they were and was like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. This was a nice and easy one because this was basically to build to sky limit. So I simply used cobblestone and I simply just placed it in a straight line. Later on, I realized that because I'm top rank, I get access to something called multiplace, which, if some of you are familiar, is essentially fast place. I didn't realize that until after I'd done this huge giant tower of cobblestone. I will say it's not pretty for the island. I should have probably used something a lot easier to break, like moss, because moss you can just one hit it and it breaks and snaps off, whereas with cobblestone you do have to manually still mine it up and it does take some time. And this is also me realizing how much cobblestone this is actually going to take, and I started to panic at this point because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna run out of cobblestone, I'm gonna have to keep mining. And for some reason I kept placing and then I would just randomly fall. I think I was just having a really bad technical day, to be honest, with my fly. I don't know what I was doing wrong, to be honest. It's kind of embarrassing, but let's not discuss that. Like I said, this is a very grind heavy episode. I have cut so much of this out. This is me fishing in my infinite water source because I don't actually have a fishing pond right now. I've also realized that I should be keeping my fish until I can unlock the cell boost. And I also might try to grind for a clash armor and put a cell boost scale on top of the armor so that I can get a bigger boost when it comes to selling. So although you will see in this particular episode, I will be selling some of the fish. When I do unlock the next study, which as we can see I am getting quite close to it, I do start to keep those fish because I don't want to be selling those because I do think they sell for a lot more money and I do feel like I will make a lot more money. Because this is a grind heavy episode, this is also a clip of me grinding D-Boss, and this was before hide players was a thing. Which is actually insane when I now look back at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did we all do D-Boss without hide players? It's crazy. I was lucky enough to now have a bow. And I highly recommend, if you haven't already, to go and check out my Clash guide, because in my Clash guide, I also explain everything you need to know when it comes to killing the boss, getting the max rewards, how to spawn the boss, and just everything Clash related, including all the recipes and scales. So definitely go and check that out. But yeah, I probably did, I'm gonna say like 20 of these, but I cut them all out. But I was just trying to get some scales, and these were pretty much insta spawning, which is really nice. The other thing I have to give a shout out to on Rainy is the fact that in Rainy, it announces in general chat when the boss is about to spawn, and it doesn't matter if you're not in the right zone for it, it will still tell you. And I think that's really, really cool, because that means you don't have to kind of sit AFK, wait. You just go when it tells you that it's spawning. And again, you just need to do a minimum of 100 damage to get a reward. So it's not like you need to be there the second that it spawns, unless you're planning to go for top 1 or 2. Otherwise, you'll definitely guaranteed at least 1 scale. But often not, I pulled 2 scales, to be quite honest, and I'm not doing top damage, by no means necessary. It was worth keeping this clip in of the debuff, because this is when Scout was trolling people by placing glass, because people were flying up to the top of the arena to try and jump down to almost like kill the dragon as they dropped down, and they were doing more damage than most people. And so Scout tried to troll people by placing glass so that they would basically spawn onto the glass. I thought that was pretty funny, so I thought it was worth keeping that clip in. But as I said, I probably grinded about 20 to 30 bosses on this bit here. Alrighty, and that is pretty much the end of episode 2. A very grind heavy episode. I promise these are going to get more fun, because I do eventually, on this next one that I've got coming out, start to build on my island and make it actually look like an island, which is exciting. But yeah, very grind heavy. I cut out a lot of it, but my studies are getting there. I'm really close to redstone, and as we can see, I also unlocked frogs, which is pretty cool. So yeah, please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Please don't forget to drop a like on the video. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this video, and if you've got any tips for my Let's Play series. I'm really open to any that anyone has. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. But honestly guys, goodbye for now and take care.